Hi and welcome to our first Phuket Go video review of the news, a weekly review of the main stories from around Phuket. You can always get all the main stories every single day at phuket-go.com. As we stumble into 2023, the biggest question for Phuket Tourism is what will happen with the formerly strong Chinese tourism market. Before COVID-19, Chinese arrivals were up to 38% of total arrivals for some months and proving to be some of the highest spending market as well. Well, this Thursday, officials will decide if they're going to impose any kind of special checks on the expected Chinese arrivals. From January the 8th, Chinese will be able to travel outside of China without having to face quarantine on return. Phuket officials are expecting the influx to start during the Chinese New Year, which is on January the 22nd this year. Meanwhile, the return of flights to Phuket keep racking up, but this one's particularly welcome. Hong Kong-based carrier Cathay Pacific, one of the worst affected airlines in the world over the past 3 years, has relaunched direct flights to Phuket. The first of the relaunched flight schedule arrived yesterday with 118 passengers on board. Hong Kong, along with China, recently eased COVID-19 travel restrictions, and the introduction of the direct services back to Phuket is a reflection of this. Staff at Phuket Airport were on hand to welcome passengers arriving on CX771, presenting them with gifts and souvenirs to mark the occasion. The current surge of visitors to Phuket, mostly from Russia, is putting an expected 100 billion baht into the island's tourism revenue over the New Year period. The Phuket Tourist Association says the island is definitely on the rebound, with average hotel occupancy at 70% at popular tourist beaches such as Nai Han, Kata, Karon and of course Patong. Phuket normally contributes around 35% of Thailand's total tourism revenue, but this could rise to 40% in the short term thanks to the full reopening of the island and an increase in the number of direct flights into Phuket. They estimate that the tourism revenue on the island is now at about 60% of pre-pandemic levels, including an increase of domestic tourism over this year's New Year break. Police in Phuket have confirmed that an American man, who's understood to have jumped from the smoking area on the third floor at Phuket Airport's international terminal, died from his injuries. The man jumped from the third floor at the back of the departures area early last week. He was taken to a nearby hospital with severe injuries but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Now, it's understood he was 35 years old and an American national, known only as Mr. Jason, and had a history of depression and other medical issues. The United States Embassy in Bangkok was also contacted in the days before his death, with tourist police trying to help him get hold of some funds to fly back home. Popular Maya Bay, part of Koh Phi Phi Leh, will be closed for tourists on January the 15th and 16th. The announcement was made last week by the management of the national park that controls the archipelago of Phi Phi Islands. Now, the reason for closure has not been announced officially, although speculation is that it could be the result of a visiting member of the Thai royal family. Maya Bay is one of Thailand's most popular tourist attractions, and it's recently gone through both a closure and a reworking of tourist movements on and around the much-loved beach since 2018. The national park officials closed Maya Bay for a break from mass tourism back in June 2018, hoping to give the coral and wildlife some time to recover. The rest of Koh Phi Phi Leh and the other Phi Phi Islands remained open during this time, and boats could still pull up at the entrance of the bay for some photos. Maya Bay stayed closed for 4 years, but finally reopened for tourists in January 2022. A Pakistani man who'd overstayed his visa by a whopping 3,270 days was arrested by officers from Phuket Immigration last week. The 35-year-old was arrested in Patong. There was also an Indian man arrested for overstay on the same day. He overstayed his visa for much less time, 1,322 days. Overstaying your visa date is considered a serious matter by Thai immigration and will usually incur fines and in many cases being blacklisted from returning to Thailand for specific time periods. Immigration officials say that Mr. Raza overstayed his visa by nearly 9 years. He was taken into custody at Patong police station and now faces overstay charges and deportation. Well, thanks for joining us on our review of the main stories from the past week around Phuket. And you can always get all the latest news at phuket-go.com. And we'll see you next time.